Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your full moon reading for you. Now, the impact of this full moon will last till the next full moon. So this is the full moon that will be happening on February 9th, and this will last till the next full moon. The impact of this full moon will last till the next full moon on March 9th. So from full moon to full moon is what this energy, what this reading will be covering. All right, so let's dive right in now, Aries, and see how everything is working out. I have everything all set up here, so I'm going to go through. I know it is a lot of information, but it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So I'm going to be moving your Queen of the Moon cards over to the side and your Moonology cards over to the side. I'll be using those at the end, layered on top of the tarot. All right. So let's see, before we talk about the moon, actually, let's talk about the moon first. No, let's lay things out. Let's look at the tarot first. Yeah, that's what Spirit is saying. And then we will talk about this moon. Spirit, how will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? Spirit, how will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? How will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? How will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? How will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? How will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? How will the full moon of February 2020 affect Aries? There we go. Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. At the heart of everything, we have the Temperance card. Okay? That's a Sagittarian energy. November 22nd to December 21st is the time frame. Then we have the Fool. The Page of Wands, that's you. You're represented by the Wands in the Minor Arcana. You are represented by the Emperor in the Major Arcana. You have the Ten of Swords. The Empress. I love it. This is powerful. The Ace of Swords, the World, the Queen of Swords. You're absolutely taking this gift. The Four of Wands, and the Hanged Man. Wow. Okay, a lot of major arcana cards here, especially at your head, your heart, and your roots. Okay, very, very powerful cards. Very, very powerful moon. This is a very powerful moon for you, Aries. All right, before I dive into what the tarot is saying, let's look at this moon just a bit. Okay, so this is, I'm going to be talking about the moon, right? This full moon is in Leo, and the Leo full moon in the Moonology cards, it says, don't let pride get in your way. And that's going to be paramount to you during this time, absolutely important, because there is such a sense of power, such a sense of drive, such a sense of focus to you that Spirit is saying, don't let pride get in your way. Don't let yourself be taken in by the ego, because it can be a very slippery slope. The whole calling of this full moon, the whole calling of the full moon is power, embracing your power. And this moon being in Leo is all about power. It's all about looking at what you want, embracing a king, a queen's, a royal mentality towards things. And you have yourself here, the form of the monarchy that's coming out is the Queen of Swords and the Empress. You're going to feel much more comfortable behind the scenes of things, but there is such a force to you, such a presence to you, that this is really a time to weed out any nonsense, anything that hasn't felt right, won't feel right. This is also the snow. This is the snow moon. So this is a purity of self. This is a purity of intentions. This is coming to things with really open eyes and an open heart. Why is this important? Because in this full moon, there's such a sense of power. You're walking away from shame. You're walking away from disappointment. You're walking away from things that have defined you in a very negative way for quite some time, things that you haven't forgiven yourself for. And that's why I have here, and you have the Empress coming through in your reading. So this is really calling to Rhiannon, who in Welsh mythology, she lost everything. She was a queen. She was a mighty ruler. She was part of the Fae. She was magical in her own right, and she lost everything. And it was because of a lie that was said. Her child was stolen when she had given birth. And the midwives, instead of saying that the child was stolen without them knowing it, said that because she was an other, she was an outsider, that she ate her baby, because who knew what these people were like, you know? So she got punished. She got cast down. She had to live for 7 years outside of the palace gates, you know, carrying anybody who wanted her to on her back like a horse, because she was also the goddess of horses, to wherever they wanted to be. And she had to tell them as she carried them her sins, what she had done that was wrong, how she had eaten her own child, right? And she hadn't. One day, her son, who was raised in the neighboring kingdom, looked the spitting image of his father, his foster father, the king that had raised him, said, "Oh my gosh, I know who your dad is." And he went, before the 7 years were up, he grew so quickly because she had fae blood in her, magic blood, and he claimed his birthright. He exonerated his mother of her sins. He claimed his father. He claimed his throne. And that's what's happening to you during this full moon. I know it's a lot to take in, but this full moon is the moon of claiming your throne, of moving away from shame and of sins and of, oh my gosh, I just can't possibly. And as you move away from this, be mindful that during this time, the void of course, you only have one void of course during this time. Of course, everything falls. The void of course that comes in is going to be at 11:08 Eastern Standard Time, all right? And that is going to be a time where nothing will come from the situation. Things will not turn out the way that you thought they would. It's going to be kind of like you think things are going to go one way, and it's going to feel almost like a joke. Things go so opposite that it can have you being very upset. So be mindful of that time during this moon, this full moon, because this full moon offers a lot, and this full moon has a lot to bring to you. But if you get off course, it's going to be very easy to stay off course. It's going to be very easy to have anger and kind of pride stand in the way. So just be mindful of that. Right? So that's the full moon. Oh, of course. I was like, wow, I have so much extra space. That's the full moon shining through. And then on, what day is it? On February 23rd, you move into the new moon. This is when everything is amplified, and the new moon is in Aquarius. This is saying, bring love into the situation. So have your heart be open during this time. Come to this day, February 23rd, with an open heart, with an open soul, with an open sense of self, because new things start coming in. This is a new start. And so as you have the purge of this full moon embracing you, as you are embracing your strength and your power, kind of releasing the ego and embracing the purity of the self, you are going to find yourself moving on February 23rd to a place of love, to really wanting to think with your heart, to really being driven by your heart, by, wow, I've always wanted to do this, or, oh my gosh, this means so much to me, or, just a sense of love driving you forward, all right? So this is going to be a time where Spirit is saying, actually, right now, that at this time, okay, beginnings. This is a time of beginnings, of moving forward. But if there is something that needs to be resolved, some relationship that has been hurt, or something like that, even if you don't talk to the person, I'm not saying that you have to talk to them and have this big, long, in-depth anything. But if you just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm releasing this pain, I'm releasing this hurt, I'm embracing love and understanding of self, you move through to the next layer, to the next place. And what's so important about this moon is that it's bringing a beginner's mind to you. And I will get to that in just a moment, because you have this sense of beginnings. Yeah, actually, I'm going to get to that now because it's coming up. And that's why I have the porcupine spirit out here, because this card has always fumbled me when I get it in a reading. When I first got it, I was like, wow, what do you mean? No, time for beginner mind. What does that mean? And it's actually a Buddhist sentiment. And here it's time to look at things as a beginner, which is how I interpreted the card before. But the validation of this time period is so absolutely splendid. It had me thinking of this moon in such a beautiful way. This is a time of beginnings. This is a time of releasing and purity of intention, of shedding a cloak of pain and a cloak of hurt, and really moving forward. And it's a time of saying, this is who I am and this is where I want to be. And that's what this reading is all about. It's about this beginner's mind. And it's about the power that comes to you with this beginner's mind. Because the spirit animal for February is the otter spirit. And it says, you are never alone. And as you are never alone, you embrace the sentiment of the beginner's mind. You start to see things with power and with understanding. And this moves you to the Virgo time period of you are good enough. You are. It's not being excellent. It's not waiting till you are the master of the situation. You know, I always think of it as master craftsman. And I always think of Da Vinci for some reason, because I love him, yes, but because of just the journey of it all. And there is a sense here of you starting off and you had to learn. You had to understand and you had to, build up. And so there have been trials, there have been tribulations, there have been stumbles. And now you see that you're good enough. It's not perfection. It's not being able to surpass the master in the situation, to be master craftsman. It is being able to say, this is where I stand, this is who I am, and this is what I want. And I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly evolving. And that's what brings in the energy of March with the whale spirit of trust the great mysteries. And also the wolf is the spirit animal. The whale and the wolf are the spirit animals for March. And that is knowledge turning into wisdom. And I do apologize for not having that up at this time. But you trust in the greater mysteries. You see that life is moving forward in a greatness, in a sense of power and truth. And as you trust in the greater mysteries, knowledge becomes wisdom. What you have learned becomes the wisdom, becomes the foundation for so much more. And you see that you are good enough, that there isn't this whole big, hugaboo that you have to go through. You are good enough as you stand where you are and how you are moving forward. So at the heart of everything is the Temperance card. Yes, it is a Sagittarian energy. There can be a beautiful connection between you and a Sagittarius. There is a sense of love and of happiness coming into your life. But Temperance is also balance. Balance is coming in, looking at things in truth and in understanding. So balance comes during this full moon. There's a sense of being free to create what it is that you want. You're revisiting goals. You're revisiting what it is that you desire to create within your life. And you find yourself standing your ground, standing in your truth. And this is stepping back. Okay? There's going to be a sense during this time where you step back, where you look at what you want, where you look at where you need to be. And the color for the full moon, all right, is amber. And the color for the full moon in March is lavender. And I just see you having the earth around you. So if you can have a piece of amber with you during this time or under your pillow, and if you can have a lavender plant or just keep lavender scent in your home, that's going to be very grounding, because this is a time of new beginnings. This is a time of either the earth awakening, depending on where you are, which hemisphere you are in, the earth awakening or the earth going into slumber. So the earth's energy is going to be very important to you. And then, as you, excuse me, embrace this truth, you have the balance coming in, you have the happiness. Now, the Four of Wands is the home. The home is going to be very important to you. It's also a celebration akin to a wedding. It's saying celebrate, rejoice, have beauty come into your life, have yourself move forward, Aries, as you embrace your truth. This can also be moving house. This could be new job opportunities coming your way. But what this moon is bringing you, it's allowing you the creative freedom to look at things anew, to look at dreams, to look at what you desire and start again. Not start again so much as embracing the truth of what you want and where you want to stand. As you do so, you have the Fool coming in. And this is taking that leap of faith. Now, some might think it's foolish to take that leap of faith, but here it's just going to be an integral part of who you are during this time. This moon, as you release pride, as you release ego, All right. And it's not saying do not take pride in what you do. Do not take a compliment. It's saying here, be truthful to yourself. Embrace your power. Embrace your prosperity. Embrace your beauty. It's time to start things anew. It's time to go after what you want to develop because you're seeing things so clearly. Now, again, this is a air sign energy, a Gemini, a Libra, and Aquarius. So the Aquarius full moon can play a tremendous role in the way that you're developing during this time. It gives you new insights into relationships. It gives you new insights into what you need to have an easier road ahead of you, to have an easier understanding of things. And as the Queen of Swords comes in, this is a sense of you really thinking, really learning about things. You are definitely taking this gift from Spirit of understanding, comprehension. You know, divinity is giving you this gift, and you're taking it, and you're not just like learning from it. You're owning it completely. And as you own this truth, magic comes to you. Because in the Spirit Animal Oracle cards, the White Raven is you embracing magic. You embracing your magic. Now, this isn't conjuring magic, though it can be if that's what you like. This is a turning inward and seeing your power, your prosperity, your truth coming into you. This is seeing the God's head that you were born with, that divinity hid within you. Brahma hid this within you. In Hinduism, it says Brahma hid the God's head within man because that is the one place we would never look for it. You turn inward and you see it. You see such power, such glory, such beauty there that you were one time feeling astoundingly overwhelmed, you were questioning a lot. You were looking at things and thinking, oh my gosh, can I possibly get to where I need to be? Are things going to be okay? And now you're seeing that there is a clarity of mind. There is a clarity of truth that comes over you as you embrace this. And this makes you highly connected with the earth. This is why having that piece of amber, having that piece of lavender, or the scent of lavender in your house is going to be so important. It can even be the scent of amber if you want it. But there is just a sense here of embracing your imperial truth, all right? Claiming your throne, being above. Oh, that's interesting. So we have Rhiannon here, right? The goddess of, the goddess, of course, is the goddess of sovereignty in Welsh mythology, right? So you're claiming your truth. And I just got the most beautiful image of, and I know it's going to sound a bit funny, but the Empress Theodora in ancient Roman times, all right? She was a woman, if I'm remembering her story correctly, she started off with absolutely nothing. I believe that, it is said that she started off as a prostitute and she became empress, but was such a strength to her, such a power to her, such a determination. And Rome was burning. And Justinius, her husband, the emperor, was leaving. He was getting on a boat and he's like, listen, everything's on fire. I gotta go. And she looked at him and she said to him, if you get on that boat, don't bother coming home. Don't bother coming back. Rome will be mine. All right? And that's the type of power that you are embracing during this time. It's like you're not running, you're not leaving. And for those who have kind of like hightailed it out, don't bother coming back. All right? There is such a sense of power and of truth and of determination to you that you will rise. And you are reclaiming that throne just as Rhiannon did, that throne that was denied to you, that throne that was hidden away. Okay? Because of not feeling worthy, not feeling as if you can move forward the way that you want to. And the Hanged Man is saying that now you're starting to see things really differently, which is absolutely exquisite. So you're seeing things differently, you're looking at things new, you're finding new understandings, new passions, you're looking at what you want and the way that you need to move forward. Will people understand? No. The Hanged Man can be very misunderstood at times because you are seeing things so differently than everybody else. Do not sit there and think, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. I should really redo this because others don't understand and I just can't do this. No. Know your truth, know your power, and stand in it. Because divinity, God, source, spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing you this gift of knowledge, is handing you this gift of understanding. And it comes after a time of just like, oh my goodness, this is the completion of a cycle. The 10 of Swords is a completion of a cycle. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this. I need to move forward. But this is saying that this has really taken the toll on you. It's also overkill. It's playing things over and over again in your mind. It's sitting there and thinking, I can never come back from this. And the fact of the matter is that you can. This can even be 2019. because that's how I see 2019. It was an end of a cycle. But for so many, myself included, it was like, holy guacamole dip. Like, what the heck is going on here? It was so much. There was so much laid before you. And it was devastating at times. So here, there is a power, there is a truth that you are embracing, there is a way that you want to move forward. And as you do so, you are emboldened, you are braver than you had imagined, and you are seeing yourself rise. This is kind of like my minor arcana death card. It's rising from the ashes. And you might sit there and say, oh, why do we have to rise from the ashes? Every day we rise from the ashes. Think of the ashes as slumber. Think of the ashes as sleep. Think of the ashes as a time that your body gets to rejuvenate and heal itself. Make sure that you rest, because you're going to think, okay, I can just take out sleeping and I'll be fine. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do. It's like, oh, don't worry, I'll just not sleep and everything will be great. And Spirit always tells me, that is the worst possible thing you can do for yourself. And that's what Spirit is saying here for you, Aries. That is going to be the worst possible thing that you can do for yourself from full moon to full moon. Make sure that you are resting. Make sure that you are checking in with yourself. You are coming out of ruts, and you are going to be seeing things with new eyes. That's why you have the beginner's mindset here. And so as you are coming out of ruts, as you are seeing things with new eyes, you are looking at things and you're like, oh my gosh. Now, for some, you might be seeing things, it might be that you're coming out of ruts and you're seeing the wisdom of a mother. Okay, you're seeing things with kind of like, oh wow, my mom got me this cup, and it says, my mother was right about everything, and and that's just what's coming into my mind. It can be something kind of like as silly as that, where you're like, wow, there was a lot of validity to what they were saying. Or it can be that you're seeing things differently because now you are embracing the energy of the Earth Mother, of this sense of coming into your power, of knowing your truth. And as you do so, you set a firm foundation for the happiness, the love, the prosperity, the bounty that you want within your life. There's a sense of doors opening up. There's a sense of celebration becoming a part of you. And as you embrace that celebration, the world opens up. And you're like, oh my gosh, yes. And as the world opens up to you, as you see things in a new light, as you are guarded by your guardian angels, by Spirit, by the divine, you become a student of your passion, of your creativity. You're looking at things and you're like, wow, I never thought of it this way. Or by clearing out the past. And that's seriously what you're doing during this time, is you're clearing out the pains and the hardships and the shame, the sins of the past. And everybody has them, it doesn't matter the extent. And you are seeing the power of your future, because the balance here is also the balance of addictions, doubts and fears and hardships, things that you have been really hard on yourself with. And at the Temperance, at your heart, is saying, now it's time to move forward. Now it's time to know that everybody goes through, the dark night of the soul. Everybody goes through hard times. It depends on how hard your times were, what your addictions were, how much time and energy it takes to rebuild. But this is a time of rebuilding. This is a time of knowing things anew. And this is a time of blessings coming in. Because as blessings come in, and as you become a student of your passion, of your creativity, of what you want to develop on this earthly plane, you cut through doubts and fears. You see with new eyes, and you are stronger. You are more determined. And I mean, seriously, nothing and no one is standing in your way. This is like, I know what I want. I know what I need. And I'm going after it. And there is nothing and no one who can stop me. The only person who can stop you during this time, Aries, is going to be you. And that's going to be with falling into old ruts, with thinking, oh my gosh, nothing can change. I just can't move forward. Things like that. That will stop you. But there's a power around you that's saying, no, it's now your time to shine. Let yourself shine. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half, because now it's time for the moon to speak with the tarot. I'm going to do half with the Queen of the Moon and half with the Moonology cards. So let's see here. Actually, let's just move these down here. How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? Show me clearly. 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 Fantastic. Wow. Okay. How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Aries? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. All right. Yeah, full moon in Aries, you're definitely shining through. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay. Okay. So what we have at your heart right here is we have pleasure coming in. And I love that. There's a sense of balance. There's a sense of understanding. And as the balance and understanding comes, pleasure comes into your life. It's like honey melting on your lips. You know, it's like tasting something astoundingly sweet, astoundingly beautiful. And as you're moving forward, there's going to be this sense of a weight lifted from your shoulders, of doubts and fears, you know, moving away from the doubts and the fears. Again, it's all about the release of shame and of negativity, and owning and celebrating your uniqueness, owning and celebrating that there is no one quite like you in this world. And that gives you tremendous pleasure to be freed like this, to move forward in this freedom. And as you do so, it leads you to the waxing crescent moon, which says, have faith in your dreams. Have faith in your dreams for the happily ever after. Have faith in your dreams for the security, the abundance, the beauty that you want within your life. Again, I don't know actually if I mentioned this before, but during the Aquarius full moon, and this is February 23rd, this is a great time to revisit your finances, to like look at things and give yourself a new financial plan. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could just be like, I'm not going to spend this much money on going out for tea or for coffee or something like that. And you're really starting to embrace the beauty of the home, the beauty of yourself, the beauty of your serenity. And as you do so, this lets you embrace the darkness, not in a bad way. Darkness is not bad. Darkness is a place where there's silence, a place, well, not even silence, there's a place of reflection, all right? Because the night can be filled with a tremendous amount of sound, a tremendous amount of life. And that's what you're seeing here. You're looking towards the beauty of the quiet. And then you are embracing the Fool. You are embracing moving forward towards your journey, towards what you want, towards where you need to be, taking those steps and being guided, embracing your magic, embracing your purpose, embracing that God's head within you as you move forward, which leads you to the gibbous moon, which says you're very close to achieving your goals. With the Queen of Swords, with this sense of knowledge and understanding, with this power of truth, you are very close to achieving your goals. Do not back down. Do not sit there and think, oh my gosh, I can't possibly do this. I can't possibly move forward this way. I'm making a mess out of everything. You're not. You're very close to achieving your goals, and there's such a sense of focus and determination around you. Now, there can be, at times, you butt heads with somebody who can be rather sharp-tongued, but note that this is going to be because there's a warning here of you being too sharp-tongued during this time, too. It's kind of like too forceful, too excited, and it's going to kind of get lost in translation somehow. And so here you have action. It's time to take action. It's time to embrace action, but to do so in a very loving, caring, kind of motherly way. But there's also a sense of reclaiming your throne, of reclaiming what was lost, of what you had thought, oh my gosh, this can't be part of my life, or this isn't the this isn't part of my bounty, something like that. And as you embrace the action of what you desire to create, you are empowered, you are emboldened. And then we have here the fixed moon, which says, hold that vision. Even though it's going to be different from everybody else, even though you might feel like an outsider looking in at times, hold to your vision, hold to your truth, because this brings you to resilience. This brings you to carrying. I just see this as the life tree on your back, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy. Look at her, she's bowed over, and it's like, oh my gosh, can I do this? But look at that determination on her. I mean, look at that, like, it's almost like, I know I need to do this. I know where I'm headed. And with that comes this knowledge and this understanding of this life tree that you're creating, of this beauty that you are embracing. And as that knowledge becomes a part of you and is a part of you, it leads you to you, Aries. It leads you to the full moon in Aries. So it leads you to surrendering to the divine, okay, because that's what the full moon is all about, the surrenderance to the divine and embracing of your power. And it says a fiery climax approaches after a time of feeling overkill, after a time of feeling singled out, after a time of feeling overwhelmed and distraught and distressed. There's this power that comes over you, and this leads you to having faith in your dreams and holding to your vision of what you want to create within your life. It's not sitting there and saying, oh, okay, I'll just wait, I'll just wish, I'll just hope. It's being astoundingly proactive. It's being astoundingly driven. And you have a well of creativity that is a part of you. And this creativity, if you see the moon here kind of like over the third eye, there is this creativity that is moving you forward, that you're looking at, and the world starts to open up. Your power starts to be embraced. And as you embrace this creation, this creativity, this power, this truth, okay, the world becomes your oyster. You start to see that what you had defined yourself as lack, or what you had defined yourself as not being able to have because of this, because of that, you could be defining yourself by the limits of your DNA, meaning that your family might always have had struggles with money, and it's like, oh, that's just something I inherited, or my family was never taken seriously. That's just something I inherited. And now you're breaking out of that mold. It can also be part of your karmic past coming in where, okay, I always had to struggle. I was always betrayed. And that's part of your cellular memory. That's part of the essence of you. And now you're sitting there and you're saying, you know what? This is bull. I am me. I get to start this slate clean. And yes, I will run up against hardships and pains and disappointments, but I do not need to be carrying the weight of my generations, the weight of their limitations on my shoulders. And it's actually astoundingly freeing. It might seem a bit selfish. You might sit there and say, oh no, but I'm proving this, for my family, for this, for that. And Spirit is actually saying that's going to be a form of ego, because you're not only going to have yourself as the key in your connection with the divine, but you're trying to have everybody's. And believe me, I take ancestral roots very, very seriously. I take family very, very seriously. And I can understand where that seems a bit harsh to say that's the ego coming in. But look at things, especially during this moon, because there's so much power and there's so much force and there's so much passion around you. And look at this and say, Divinity, what is it that you want from me? How is it that I can move forward? Because that's going to lead you from the darkness. And that's exactly it. Gosh, I didn't even realize. The new moon in Gemini, it says communication is key. And that's what you're going to be seeing as you become a student of your passion, of your creativity, of where you want to be and what you stand for. Communication is key. And that's your communication with the divine. That's your power with your truth, which leads you to being very close to achieving your goals as you have faith in your dreams. That leads you to being very close to getting where it is that you want to be. Now, your subconscious message for this whole entire reading is the Two of Pentacles. You're balancing a lot. You are looking at a lot. And you can feel overwhelmed by this. You can sit there and be like, oh my gosh, these two things, I can't get my footing. I don't know. But there's also a sense of great prosperity around you. You have endless prosperity around you. There's a sense of prosperity being part of your eternity, being part of your legacy, being part of your message. So as you're balancing things, as you're coming to an understanding of how you want to move forward, you're going to see that one thing chimes clear like crystal, okay? Sings like the bells. And as this truth becomes a part of you, you start to see that what you were juggling before, what felt overwhelming, it's really juggling one purpose, one desire as you move forward. Right? Subconsciously, you might feel like there's a lot on your plate, a lot that you need to do. But you're going to see that over time, with this full moon, from full moon to full moon, from the 9th of February to the 9th of March, you start to see things falling into place. You start to see your focus really coming through. And then with the Moonology card, it says the full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture of what you want. And it's interesting because it's going right over your heart, and your heart is in Sagittarius. It has that Sagittarian time frame around it, with the Temperance card right here, has that Sagittarian energy around it. And so for the full moon in Sagittarius to come out, look at the bigger picture. Look at what it is that you desire. Look at how it is that you want to be defined. Right? And that will lead you. And that leads you to your subconscious message of the Queen of the Moon, which is self-love, which is beautiful, which is self-love, which is power, which is truth, which is emotional abundance. And subconsciously, that's what you're moving for and moving towards. And that's what you're balancing within you. How to work self-love into every aspect of your life. You might not be able to do it all at once. You might have a job that isn't the greatest, or a relationship that you're struggling with at times. But here, by loving yourself, by saying, I adore me, I love me, and start working on you. I mean, that's not what I try to do, but that's what Spirit tries to do through these messages that I am blessed to be able to bring. It's like having that self-love be a part of your eternal existence and be a part of your beauty. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring it to you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you, and I love you all. Bye.